Joining me now is Harish Salve, senior lawyer and former Solicitor General of India, who appeared for the Italian government in the Supreme Court. Mr. Salve, appreciate your joining us. In your statement, you have said the Italian government should have at least forewarned its Indian lawyers of the change of its position before communicating it to the government of India. Am I to understand that you had no information, no communication at any stage about Italy's decision not to send back the Marines to India before it was officially communicated?
I was flicking channels on Monday evening at 11 p.m.
Yes.
when I saw a news flash on NDTV, and that's when I started making inquiries. And that's when I was told that already some paper has been given to the government of India.
Are you saying that at no stage in the last several weeks had you even an inkling about this? Because there is one feeling that all this was being done as some kind of a pre-negotiated deal behind the scenes between the Italian and the Indian government.
I don't think that is true, because for the simple reason, first time it was done was when the matter was in Kerala. Although I was not involved at that time, the Kerala High Court lawyers were involved. But at that time also, the government of India agreed to allow these boys to go back for Christmas. The second time when it was done, because a month had gone by, or more than a month had gone by, the court had not been set up, the government of India did not oppose, because, and I must share this with you, Radip, the undertaking was given by the Italian ambassador on express authority from Rome, and in fact the draft of the undertaking which was circulated around was even passed through the office of the Italian Prime Minister. So it was done at the highest level. Now surely, I mean, somebody can have faith in a friendly country who is as big and as powerful as Italy. Are you saying ultimately it's only a question of the two Marines coming to face trial?
Are you saying that the Italian government had on February 22nd submitted that undertaking that the Marines would be kept under the constant custody, supervision and control in Italy was cleared in your view at the highest level by no less than the Prime Minister of Italy? So the ambassador was acting again under the explicit orders of the Prime Minister of Italy.
I've said so in my press release. Because at the time of exchange, I noticed it had passed through Rome, it had passed through the Prime Minister's office.
Therefore, it would appear, Mr. Salve, that even you were taken for a ride. It would appear then that while you were appearing in court, either the Italians had made up their mind and were using you and your good offices and that of the government of India to somehow or the other, in a sense, take the Indian government and the Supreme Court for a ride.
Well, all I can say is, till the 6th of March, when I got an email from them saying, is it possible at all to get an extension of their stay, there was no intention which I was aware of this kind of a change of heart. So somewhere along the way a change of heart happened. Or if this was always planned, then the government of India, the Supreme Court, all of us have been sort of taken.
What did you tell them on the 6th of March? What did you tell when they asked you, can they get an extension? What did you tell them on the 6th of March?
I told them that's not going to work. I told them it's not going to work. They sent me a draft. I said, well, if the government is not able to set up a court, and for a long time these boys are going to be without trial, then the court might consider. But if the government sets up a court, then they'll have to come back.
Do you get a sense that after that 6th of mail exchange, do you get a sense that after that 6th of mail exchange they gave up in a sense on their earlier stand and shifted their stand post the 6th of March? Or is your suspicion that they never intended to return in the first place?
I think that's my... I think there has been a change. There has been a political change in Italy.
Yes.
Some people have changed. So I don't know whether that was so, but I was dealing with a different lot of people initially when we moved all this application. So frankly, this only the Italians can answer. But it looked like at least till the 5th or 6th of March that there was no intention of this kind.
What do you then believe should be done, Mr. Salve? You've been advising the Italians till now. Now let's advise the Indian government. What would you advise the Indian government to do? Should these two individuals be declared absconders?
First No, then it's something far more serious. See, declaring the absconder is going to get you nothing. Two important aspects of the matter, Raddeep.
Yes.
First thing I did is I wrote to the Italian ambassador saying, I'm your lawyer, but before that I'm a citizen of India and I'm a senior counsel of the Supreme Court. And it is impossible for me to accept this kind of an insult of my country and my court.
Yes.
I think the two fronts which are open, first comes the diplomatic front, because technically I think till the 22nd or 23rd, whatever is the deadline,
that's right,
there is no breach, because if they have a change of heart and bring them back, then the order of the court is complied with. So till that time the government of India should put immense diplomatic pressure of the ultimate variety. I mean, do we really need to keep up relations with a country like this?
Are you saying we should expel? Are you now in favor of expelling? Do you believe that before exercising legal options in the court, like declaring them absconders, expel the Italian envoy, downgrade relations with Italy?
No, on the contrary. On the contrary,
yes.
My view was, and that is why we advanced this in the Supreme Court, when Italy as a republic has filed a 32 petition and then given undertakings to Supreme Court, I think that if they claim diplomatic immunity, it will be a highly questionable premise.
Are you saying that the Italian ambassador should therefore appear before the Supreme Court for criminal contempt of court and cannot therefore, in your view, exercise his right of diplomatic immunity?
I am sure he will be made to appear.
He cannot exercise his right of diplomatic immunity?
I am sure he will be made to appear if they don't come back.
You're saying that the Italian ambassador will be made to appear, and does he enjoy diplomatic immunity, Mr. Salve?
Should. Let me answer that straight away. Rajdeep, what is the meaning of diplomatic immunity?
Yes.
Diplomatic immunity means I am beyond your legal system, because I am a foreign sovereign, right?
Yes.
Now you can't move a legal system and stay beyond it. So if you moved a legal system, if you've given an undertaking, it is what we lawyers call acceding to the jurisdiction.
So effectively you're saying that you believe that the Italian ambassador has lost his right to diplomatic immunity, he should appear before the Supreme Court, and if the Supreme Court tomorrow wants to order his arrest for criminal contempt of court, then so be it. Am I right?
Because this is an unprecedented situation. The Supreme Court has constitutional powers. Oh yes, the Supreme Court has constitutional powers. And they can. And I agree with Mr. Jaitley. I heard Mr. Jaitley's speech in Parliament. I think there was a lot of force in what he said.
So you are effectively saying, as someone who's tracked this case closely, that you believe that there is a serious reason to arrest the Italian ambassador if necessary, and that perhaps is preferable to sending him back to Italy without appearing before the Supreme Court. Do I get that correct?
Well, I think if the Marines don't come back, surely he has a lot of questions to answer the Supreme Court.
My final question then to you, do you believe that this entire case has been...
You can't walk away from all this and say now diplomatic immunity.
May I ask you as a conclusion, do you believe that this entire case has been mishandled by the way the center's alleged, the center in good faith, it is being said, allowed them to go, but the entire manner in which this case has been handled suggests that somewhere someone was either striking a back, was complicit, or was simply inefficient?
No, I don't. Well, Raddeep, I wouldn't say that. See, when you allowed them to go back in December, they came back. 2 months have gone by. The courts have not been set up. The government has a genuine legal problem, because unfortunately we make laws in a hurry but don't make the machinery. We've made the Maritime Zones Act. We've signed the UNICLOS. We have not made the machinery to implement all this. So the government was trying to now work out how to work this machinery. In the meanwhile, if it is an unprecedented thing that a foreign republic comes and says, look, I'm giving you an undertaking, I'm acceding to the jurisdiction of a highest court. The government reacted with nobility and the Supreme Court reacted with grace. I mean, little did we realize that this is what we would one day end up dealing with. It's a very sorry day for public international law that something like this has happened.
I'm going to again ask you then, you're saying that the Italian ambassador must appear before the Supreme Court. Do you believe that the 2 Italian Marines should also be declared absconders and red corner notices sent for them in Interpol? Are you worried at all about the diplomatic fallout, or do you believe that the matters have reached a stage where you cannot really look at diplomatic niceties anymore?
I think, Rajdeep, diplomatic niceties in a situation like this don't arise. There's no question of any further diplomatic niceties. When somebody has insulted your highest court and insulted your nation,
right,
what are the question of diplomatic niceties? Then you might as well extend diplomatic niceties to all those gentlemen across the border who are wanting to wage war on India.
May I then ask you, do you believe in hindsight that it was a mistake to accept this brief in the first place?
Well, in hindsight, of course, nobody ever realized that a European country, a developed European country, a country as civilized as Italy could behave like this. But that's why I'm saying it's a very sad day for public international law. That means in today's fractured politics of the world, no country can have faith on another country.
Harish Salve, I appreciate your joining us and telling us your side.
Each for his own.
Each for his own. Thank you very much.
Christmas. The second time when it was done, because a month had gone by, or more than a month had gone by, the court had not been set up, the government of India did not oppose, because, and I must share this with you, Radip, the undertaking was given by the Italian ambassador on express authority from Rome, and in fact the draft of.
Joining me now is Harish Salve, senior lawyer and former Solicitor General of India, who appeared for the Italian government in the Supreme Court. Mr. Salve, I appreciate your joining us. In your statement, you have said the Italian government should have at least forewarned its Indian lawyers of the change of its position before communicating it to the government of India. Am I to understand that you had no information, no communication at any stage about Italy's decision not to send back the Marines to India before it was officially communicated?
I was flicking channels on Monday evening at 11 p.m.
Yes.
when I saw a news flash on NDTV, and that's
the Indian government.
I don't think that is true, because for the simple reason, first time it was done was when the matter was in Kerala. Although I was not involved at that time, the Kerala High Court lawyers were involved. But at that time also the government of India agreed to allow these boys to go back. Then I started making inquiries. And that's when I was told that already some paper has been given to the government of India.
Are you saying that at no stage in the last several weeks had you even an inkling about this? Because there is one feeling that all this was being done as some kind of a pre-negotiated deal behind the scenes between the Italian and